Welcome to Off the Beaten Path. My name is Cush.
My name is Breezy. On our podcast, we explore the great outdoors and the Second Amendment with a blend of culture,
comedy, and conversation. And oh yeah,
I'm making beats.
Bro, I forgot that was the back end of that intro. That's him. So you've seen us in person. You know how we are, bro. I was like, he's like, bro, how are we gonna add in there that I'm making beats? And we're sitting there in his studio. He goes, maybe I should just say, I'm making beats. And I just happened to hit recording. And yeah, we caught that. But anyway, hey, Byron the Shooter, I want to first off welcome you to the show. Thanks for
having me.
No, of course, bro. Of course,
man,
it's
thanks
a pleasure.
for being here.
Yeah, and I guess really quick to jump into it. I know you got 50,000 some odd followers on Instagram. You got a big following over on YouTube, but for people who may not know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into it from there, bro.
Cool. So if you guys been under a rock and don't know who I am, say no, I'm playing. I'm Byron, better known as Byron the Instructor, Byron the Shooter, the guy that makes fun content, I guess. I don't know. I'm just a regular person, man, that just grew a love for firearms. And then when I had more questions and I wanted to dive into it, it wasn't no professional shooters around. You know, the people that I seen growing up with guns were either drug dealers or cops. So it was like two ends of the spectrum, but it was nothing in the middle that I could relate to. So I guess I just wanted to be that different guy. So I started researching it, became an instructor a million years ago.
Really? So how long has it actually been since you've been an instructor?
Man. Well, next year, January 2025, will make it 14 years.
Oh, wow. So you're true to this, not new to this.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hey,
That's
so
like, when I see some new instructors, I just be like, oh, okay, I see what you got going on.
So let's back up a little bit, bro, because you said something that me and Breezy have actually talked about. You know, we're from South Florida. We're an hour away from Miami. You know I hear that accent. And, you know, for people who don't know, outside of the States or in the States, Byron is from Philly. And you said something, bro, that struck a chord with me because it resonates. You said, growing up where I grew up, the only people who had firearms were either drug dealers or cops. So tell us a little bit about your background and what was the conscious decision for you to say, yo, I want to get real training and I'm gonna make it happen one way or the other.
Let me see. Statute of limitations should be over. So it was really just like seeing so many things, and then you have all of the older generation telling you, man, you need to get you a gun, man. You don't want to be the only one out here without power. And I'm like, okay. So you figure you 15, 16, you keep hearing this, you like, yo, you right. Cause I could fight, but if I punch on you and you got a gun and I don't, now what?
Yeah.
Now I don't have no power. You got all the power. So it don't matter if I punched on you. Now you had the power. What am I going to do? So when you had things like that happen, then you like, all right, well, maybe I should get me some power, right? Maybe, maybe I should get some power. And then you come across little things, like you see things, you get firearms with like, duct tape and rubber bands around the grip and things that you would never probably touch as a person that's knowledgeable about firearms. When you start learning about the differences in calibers, and then you just understand about the velocities, the impact of rounds and things like that. And then you be like, wow, like just growing up from where I came from to just being in that space where people were telling me you don't want to be the only one without power. And then to grow up with this curiosity, understanding that I avoided the trap. You know what I mean? And so many people I know that they either lost their lives to guns or ended up in doing prison time because of guns. And it was no medium. So you know that these people that seek power also ended up in jail or dead.
Yeah.
And then the other people that you seen with power were police. And
Yep.
growing up, man, some of these cops was crazy. Like, I mean, like all of us, I had a smart mouth. But a lot of the cops got to know us. Um, and it's just a very it's crazy how it goes because you don't want to be a product of your environment, but at the same time, I feel from my environment, I became this.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as perfect, so I'll say this polished product because now when people from my hood they got felonies and they is like, bro, I can't believe you did this, man.
Yeah.
Like all of us growing up, like, yo, the gun is power, the gun is power, and they seen all the things that I was able to accomplish using the same tool. But
Yeah.
it's not like I wasn't,
Standards.
yeah, and I wasn't chasing the power. After a while, I started chasing the knowledge,
Yeah.
and
Bro, man,
yeah,
that right there is that's a nugget. Cause man, it's a similar story, bro. Like, you met my twin brother, and we
yeah,
were gorillas, like for real out here in the streets around us. And bro, we had firearms when we were younger, and I want to go on record and say none of us on this podcast are advocating for youth to have firearms. We do believe in the legal gun ownership, so let's be very
100%.
clear on that. Just for me and my experience, it was it's life or death out here, and we chose to clutch
Hey,
up. And man, you said something that is again another powerful lesson. Like me and Breezy, we said this before. We owned a recording studio for 7-8 years, and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna be packing, my, whatever it was. I think what was it? Your Ruger? Yeah,
Ruger.
you had a Ruger." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, you know what?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get my pistol and carry it too." And he was like, "You got a license?" I was like, "License? You need no license?" He goes, "Dog, we're business owners." And I was like, "Yeah, I know that." He goes, "Dog, you want to make sure you're legal." Bro, I was already 30, what,
4,
32, 33? Yeah,
30,
yeah, somewhere around there. And I was like, and he was like, "Yo, bro, I'm gonna send you some links. Just read up on it." Yo, bro, I had no idea at 32, whatever age I was, 33, that owning a gun legally meant, yo, I got to get my paperwork. I got to go get some knowledge. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, so for you to say that, because there is that aspect, right? There is the,
yeah, 100%.
we got to survive. And, we just know, like, who was it? Beanie Siegel who said it? Stay low and keep firing. You
That's
know what I'm
it.
Yeah,
saying? Like, we grew up on that. And I love that you said something, because that's what opened up the door for me and got me out of like my neighborhood and into corporate America. Was you started chasing the education, like
exactly.
knowledge,
And
the
for the
wisdom.
hip hop record book, I believe that was big.
Was
Yeah,
it?
I think it was big.
But yo,
no,
Siegel
no,
said
no,
it
no, no.
too.
Stay low, keep firing.
It
Bean
was
said
sold in
that on one of the records.
It was sold in
I can't
shootouts.
remember.
Stay low and keep firing. Keep extra for extra. Nah. The most
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
shady
yeah, yeah,
Frankie
yeah.
baby. Yeah. He
Uh,
said that's a big. That's why I still say clips, because I was a hip hop guy and everything was a clip.
yeah.
16 in the clip and one in the chamber. So
Yep.
I had to
yeah,
learn mag.
We got
And
to
back
talk about that too, because
to that
that's
too. The
It-
street.
you-
Give me an over under on this and tell me if I'm off base or if I'm close. I feel like everyone's first street pistol had a 3.8 in it. It was either a
Of course.
380 or a 38.
Yeah, of
you-
course.
Like 75% chance that was like your first
With the
street
pearl handle and yeah.
Nah, you know what? You know what? It's crazy that you said that, man. This how you know this. The funny thing about education and where you see environments, you up here, man, you would just get whatever you could get, man. I don't
Yeah.
know if y'all know about the 25, man, but
What?
it was
It just seemed like
terrible,
there
bro.
was such an abundance of like 380s and 38s, right? Like
No, the,
everyone,
the 380 was like the major go to, but I know after a while it was like you can't find them. And then a lot of times, but as the younger dude, you get what the older crew just wouldn't even want no parts of. So they might tell you, yeah, man, take this little 25, man. Take this little 380. but they not giving you nothing too crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I will say that I'm glad that you said what you said, because with our environment, right? And when we started to see so much death, right? Like, and you see with me, I know it happened when people were changing their lives. Funny that you with reference music, like I rap too. Like a lot of people don't know that unless they seen like little videos where I'll post something on Instagram, like, yo, I'm just gonna post me rapping. And then people will be like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from? Like, it's a little fun. But so even with rap, I had one of my old heads. It was probably like 4 years older than me. Maybe not even that. Probably like 4 years older than me. I remember when I first rap, people was laughing. He was like, "Listen, man, stay at it. It's potential there.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out how to line some stuff up, get some bars right, get your breathing right." And he was like, "You'll be dope." And he was like, "Everybody that had something to say, be sitting there to be the first ones to say, you'll spit something else."
Yeah.
And that was a fact. And the crazy thing for that was I actually started getting nice. And I remember he was saying something about how he was getting out of the game because, you know, a lot of times when we grow up, people sell drugs. So he was in there talking about getting out of the game, doing stuff because he had kids, um, or he was about to have a kid. And then, you know, he was like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm doing everything the right way. And I'm not doing no illegal guns and yada, yada, yada. And then literally within a week, he got shot and killed.
No.
And it's just like, yo, that's so crazy that when you change your life and start doing the right thing,
It comes back.
that
Comes
it
to
come
find
back.
you, right?
And,
Yeah.
and then if with me, I'm always thinking like, dang, man, what if you would have had your gun though? It probably wouldn't have went down that way.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, so when we're in that urban environment, our mindset on firearms is different. Like I was told growing up, no, a gun is power. Now to grow up and be educated, nah, a gun is responsibility.
That's a fact. And a liability, depending on how you handle it. Real quick though,
Yeah.
speaking
Hold
of
on.
rapping.
So we got two. So fun fact, Cush raps as well.
Oh, yeah.
Look, he ain't want to say that.
I keep that super hush.
Look.
Yeah. But
Cush
so hold on.
Cush is nice.
Speaking of rappers, we got a producer. What are you chopping up tonight, Breeze?
I actually found a little something. I just got the piece that I'm gonna chop. I'll start it at the beginning so y'all can hear the song, how it starts. But that's not what I'm chopping. I'm chopping this. Y'all ready? Hold on. You might have some for this, Byron. Ready? Wait for it. Y'all don't know.
So that's what you're chopping up?
That's what I'm gonna chop up.
All right. Now fast.
I like that. That's a nice little melody to it. I like that.
Not bad, right?
All right. We back. So all right. So yeah, growing up in the inner city, at what age did you say to yourself, you know, let me go ahead and become an instructor. Let me go ahead and hit the range regularly. Let me put some time and effort into this and show people you can be from anywhere. You can be from the country, like most of the people in our space are. You can be from the Midwest, or you can be from Brick City. You can be from Philly. You can be from Miami. When did you say, like, yo, man, I could show the youngins a way? First, let me figure this out for myself. How old were you, like, consciously?
So with me, I think I was probably my first gun that I went into a store and purchased. I did it when I was 25.
Wow.
So now, before I bought it, I was like, man, look, I'm about to get a license to carry. I'm gonna do all of this stuff the right way. So I went and got the license to carry, and I was like, okay, now I need to get a gun. So I went to the gun shop, and it's crazy because all these years later, I teach at that gun shop now.
Wow.
I do classes there when the armed guards are coming up. I do the firearms part of the class with them and my mentor. And the crazy thing was, I didn't choose to become a firearms instructor. I didn't want to do it. If
You
we're
chose
being 100% honest, I never wanted to do it. But I bought a gun at 25, and I was like, actually, now that I think about it, hold on. It will be 20. Yeah, it will be 15 years as an instructor in January.
wow.
So I was in the firearms, but I had got sat down because I had a regular job. Then I messed around and I fractured my knee. And so it took me to be at my lowest point to get to where I'm at now. So
Woo!
in 2010, I had fractured my knee. Um, then my job was playing with my workers' comp. Then I eventually got fired. They kind of set me up to fire me though. So
Ah,
they had sent me paperwork that my doctor was supposed to fill out and send back for workers' comp. So
yep.
I got those papers regular mail after I got the papers certified mail saying I was terminated for failure to provide documents.
That's crazy.
So now it's like I didn't have a job. Now back to the music aspect. At the time, it's like when you used to work and then you can't work. My knee fractured. I'm sitting up in the crib, bored, borderline depressed. The girl I was talking to at the time was like, "Yo," because I had met Fendi. So a lot of people that do music and you know about Fendi, you see him popping up on stuff like that. Fendi used to set up tours and stuff for like Rockefeller and stuff like that. So I forgot, I don't even remember how I met Fendi, but he had sent me all of these beats. Like, bro, we're gonna put some stuff together. I want you to do this, 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 and that. Get these songs lined up to put up a perfect project. We want a radio hit. We need something for the Grammy. This you. And he's like, just trying to make some commercial music and things like that. So he gave me like 50 beats. Um, with some producers that I think might be out of Miami or Florida. Um, and I was started writing to that to help pass the time while I was hurt. Now, fast forward, I was still working on music. I was going to therapy. Then I got fired.
Yep.
So after I got fired, they were still. I had already talked to an attorney. So an attorney was like, "Don't worry about that. I'm gonna get you paid." So I was going through that with the PT. Then the going into the end of that year, my sister passed away
Yep.
randomly. So then it was just like, man, okay.
Yeah.
So then I was like, man, I gotta figure this out. I'm about to start a security company. Like I wasn't really into the gun thing. Like I was there, but like showing people I know, but it wasn't super crazy. And then I was like, I'm gonna start a security company to do protection work, protect people. And me and my buddy from middle school, we linked up. We're in a class to become armed guards because I want to be an armed guard. So you can't tell me. I didn't want to be one of those bosses that somebody could say, "Man, you never even went through training. You don't know what it's like."
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I went through the training during the middle of the class, somebody failed their shooting qualification. And I'm like, "Oh man!" I was like, "Look, I seen what you was doing a little bit." And I said, "But just do this, hold it like this, and you do this. This will work for me. If you do this, this is gonna work for you. I promise you." The instructor never said anything. So the person did it, whatever. I went back down in the classroom because I passed. So I was just up there for a minute, just chilling. Because at the beginning of the class, the instructor asked, he said, "Do we have any shooters in the class?" I raised my hand, and another guy, Jesse, raised his hand. And then Jesse was in one of the first groups up. So Jesse comes down. I'm like, "Yeah, shooter." So he's shaking my hand. He's like, "I fell." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, I fell." I was like,
Wow.
nah. So then fast forward, I passed. I gave somebody else instructions. So the end of the day comes. We all pack up our little stuff. We get ready to leave. He said, "Hey, have a seat real quick. I want to talk to you." I'm like, "Uh-oh." I'm like, he about to tell me stay in my place.
Yeah.
This is my
Yep.
classroom. And he was like, "Yo, you ever thought about becoming a firearms instructor?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I just want to start my security company and, just do my security thing." He was like, "You should really think about it." He was like, "Because you didn't have the proper lingo." He said, "But you were absolutely right in what you were saying. You just didn't know how to professionally articulate it."
Yeah.
And he was like, but they passed after you said that. They passed. And I was like, wow, that's dope. And he said, yo, you should become a firearms instructor. So I said, yeah. So we graduated that training like a day or two later. So then the following week it was NBA playoffs. So I'm like, let me go pick his brain. Or it might not have been NBA playoff. It was some playoff.
Yeah.
So I go to meet him at the food spot. You know what I mean? And shout out to Mike Hall. And I go to meet him at the food spot. He shake my hand, me and my partner. We sit down, we talking to him. He said, hey, you signed up to become an instructor? And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get to it though. 2 days later, I go meet him at another game. This time, he didn't even let me sit down. I walked up, I shook his hand. No, let me rewind back. And it's like that image from him of running his security company. He said, sit down, man, get something to eat, man. He called the waiter over. So I'm ordering whatever. And then the bill come, he just take it. I said, what I owe you? He said, go and be great. Okay. All
Dope.
right. So boom, he paid for the food. So then 2 days later, I pop up on him again. This time I go to shake his hand. I don't even get a chance to sit down. As soon as I shook his hand, he looked right in my face and said, did you sign up to become an instructor yet?
Ah.
Now, knowing I didn't, I lied. I said, yep. And the class was full, but it's another class. I'm gonna be in that thing this weekend. He said, okay. Go on, man, sit down. So in my mind, I already knew. I'm like, all right, you can't ask somebody to mentor you, and the first thing you're doing is not taking their advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went and I did
And
it.
say that again, bro. You can't ask somebody to mentor you, and the first thing you do is not take their advice.
Exactly. Because it's like, all right, you want me to mentor you? I'm giving you something that you don't see. I
Yeah.
see something in you that you don't see.
Yeah.
Just listen. And the
Yeah.
fact that I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you figure my security company been on ice for years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I still do security details because of the work that I put in. But you don't know me as Byron, the security
Yeah.
company owner. You know me as Byron, the instructor.
Yeah.
And because for me, it was just a passion of helping people. With the security, you got fulfillment knowing that, yo, I'm gonna make sure you good when I'm here.
Yeah.
But what happens when we leave?
Yep. Exactly.
But if I could train you and build you up to be your own first responder, you literally are now in a position to protect yourself. So even
Man,
when I'm not there, I plant the seeds that could help you when I'm not around.
I'm there even when I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that
so you have what about at minimum, we'll say 16 years, at minimum 16 years as an instructor. Like in doing your round firearm, you become way more knowledgeable. Let's kind of like bring in some of the I know you talked about your training. How does that seep over to your social media? When do you realize like, say, man, I want to put some content up on socials?
you know
And
the
then
funny.
how quick was it?
So the crazy thing for me is it wasn't fast. Like, but I was getting classes in real life. So I'm like, I'm always posting. I was posting little music stuff. My Instagram following was nothing. My Instagram name was like just chaos. So I ain't even put up a lot of me. I put up a couple freestyles and stuff like that,
Yep.
but I ain't had no big platform. I probably had like 250 followers. So then I'm like, all right, let me switch this. And then I forgot what I put. I switched it to something. And then I started posting gun content. And I put up like a little cheesy ad for my security company. And I think people only liked it because that shit was so whack. Oh, my bad. Can we curse?
I mean, it's cool. We'll edit it out.
All
Yeah, but
right.
it's cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bro. It was so, my commercial was so whack. People really paid attention to it. But
That's
then I started posting training videos and people would see me out giving little pointers. Like I'm doing stuff like what happened if you in a fight. So I was taking stuff I seen in the security field. Like I remember I seen this video of a cop. He went to fight somebody, or the person wanted to fight him when he went to arrest him. He got punched. He fell. So as he fell, it was a bigger dude that hit him. So the dude is going for his
That was at
gun.
like a wedding reception or something, I think. Dude
No,
was
no, no. This
drunk.
one was
No?
like, no, this wasn't at a wedding reception. It was like a regular traffic stop that got ugly.
Oh, okay.
And the cop got hit. He falls. So the dude is going for the gun, but he's a bigger dude. So when you're a bigger guy with your stomach in a way and you don't have a holster, but the gun is just in your waistband, you
Yep.
can't just grab it.
That's a fact.
So the cop, when that happened, he turned over and he's crawling away fast to get back up to get his gun out and then engage the dude, who by this time had damn near had a good grip on his firearm with his strong hand. So for me, I used to see stuff like that and I was like, damn, that's crazy. This guy could have been dead.
Yeah.
So I would go to the range and out the range, and I'm like, man, listen, you get hit, you fall. So you see me fall, like, and I'm telling people, like, when you fall, you got to tuck that chin.
Chin, that's a
So I'm
fact.
telling people they fall. Boom. That way they keep your head from slamming on the ground. Then
Yep.
I'm like going through the motions of rolling, drawing the gun. Boom, 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 boom. Roll to the other side, get to that mag, reload, and then shoot as I was getting up. So when I did that, people was like, oh, this dude do it. He get busy.
Yeah.
So then more people started following me. But I never really, it was never like, let me post to get business. It was just like,
Posting for education to spread
yeah,
awareness.
yeah, let me post some videos so people can see this and be like, oh, all right, I'll
Yeah.
watch this video, I'll practice, and then I might not get unalive while I'm at work.
Yeah.
So that's what it was really about. And as I'm posting, I still will post little music stuff, like
Yeah.
little freestyles. And then, man, it's just like people kept tuning in. And for me, really, I still had a regular job. Like I wanted to do it, but the girl I was dealing with, she was like, well, you running a security company, you're not around that much. You know, you should get a regular job. So I'm like, all right, I do want to do the gun thing. So okay. So let me stop doing security. So I got a regular job working on the armored truck. Now, the problem with this was I was still doing gun training, but now with the armored truck taking up most of my time, I would only have the weekends. And so when I'm doing this, my mentor, shout out to Mike Hall again, was like, why would you take a job?
Yeah.
Like, why? I'm like, well, she was complaining, I'm never home with the security. And he was like, ho. You got lucky and found a security gig where you're home at night for dinner. I'm like, yeah. He was like, and you're making cash money. I said, yeah, but she not happy. He said, man, listen, I wish you the best and I hope it works out. And he said, but you want a woman in your corner that's going to lift you up and say, go get it. And
Come
I
on,
said, you're
man.
right.
Let's go.
So I ended up, working on the armor truck and I get the job there. And they're like, oh, you do firearms? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, you might be our guy. We might be able to get you trained and you do the qualifications here. I'm like, bet. So then I meet the gun instructor who's an older guy, retired cop. Me and him get to talking. He qualified me. And he said, oh, so you really are. He's like, you're a real deal with this instructor thing. And he said, man, when you shot, I didn't even need my marker. I just knew what it was. And I said, okay, do me a favor. I don't like perfect. Act like I missed 3 times. He said, absolutely not. I said, okay, you're honorable, whatever. So we get to talking. And he was telling me, yeah, man, they pay me a salary. And I said, oh, really? So now I'm thinking I need to stay in here and move, put myself in a position so I could do this because they get a
Yeah.
salary. And then after I working there for 6 months, I noticed like my man is on salary. And since I qualified, I've seen him twice. And
Wow.
all he was doing was twice in 6 months.
Yeah.
And then one year, then it came up for the next year. I'm like, hey man, I got a new gun. I need you to qualify me on this too. He said, what you say? 100? I said, nah, man, I told you 94. He said, okay, 94 is good. You ain't even got to come in. I said, but I might not shoot this good with this gun. He
Mhm.
said, fine. So we go, I shoot, and he said, yo, you wasted my time. I could have been sitting up with my girlfriend. Mind you, this instructor was like 60. His girl's like 26.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you doing big things, my guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then I started noticing like at the armored truck company that it was just the favoritism, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna get this position because they're just stringing me along like the carrot with
Yeah.
the
Yep.
you know
Yep.
the rabbit that's chasing the
Right,
carrot and
yep.
just keep
Of
dangling
course.
along. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. So the funny thing was the woman I was married to, we was having some issues. So I'm like, well, maybe we should just separate and just see what happens. So we separated, but we were still living together. And then I started dating another girl, and she was like, yo. And at first she was like, I think you could really do this firearms thing. And I'm like, maybe. So she came to be my camera person when I recorded this guy's day out at the range. Cause that was my thing. I used to come up with packages like guys' day at the range,
Yeah.
girls' day at the range. Because nobody was doing this. Nobody's doing it, right? So, and I'm saying we're talking this back in you talking 2011,
Wow.
right? 2011, 2012. This is when I'm doing girls' day at the range, guys' day at the range.
Yeah.
So then she comes to the class, she records and she sees how I'm interacting with the guys. I got people laughing, we're joking, but they're learning the information and they're having fun. Then I ain't have a hostage target. They ain't had nothing at the range. So I took and drew like a stick figure target. And the guy said, I want you to hit the hostage. So where these guys are having a ball. So her thing was numbers. She was like an accountant. So she seen what I spent for range fees and everything and ammo. And she seen my profit. And we was only there like 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
She straight up told me, she said, yo, you need to quit. I said, why would I quit my job? She said, because you're looking at it the wrong way. You work 60 hours a week. And after child support and taxes, you literally just made more than half of what you come home with in a few hours.
Yeah.
She is like, you don't understand how good you are. She was like, I date you and seeing you in this space
It's different.
was
Yeah.
different.
That's
She was like,
dope.
she was like, seeing your essence and I see how great you can be, you should quit. You think I quit? Nah, not me. I'm still at this job. So then I was pushing myself for the training. Now, mind you, started off at Philly Gun Teacher LLC. And my motto at Philly Gun Teacher LLC was train to fight, fight how you train to survive. And so I got hit up one day and I was talking to Ronica Clary, who used to work on Fox 29 chasing news. And she said, I would love to talk to you about New Jersey gun laws. This might have been 2014 at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. So I go, now mind you, oh, hold on, wait. I'm putting the buggy before the horse.
The horse.
Let
Yeah.
me rewind because this situation happened a little bit before I was dating that girl. Because me and my wife were figuring it out, but we were still living together, but it wasn't going good.
Oh,
So at this time, I did the interview. I never even told her about it because I'm like, we're on different pages. She not really supporting the
yep.
gun stuff, whatever. So I did a whole interview. Now to me, it's not that big of a deal, right?
Right.
I'm laying on the couch, sleep one night. I happen to wake up and I'm looking and I see this lady say, yeah, so Governor Christie's about to run for president, so some things he's gonna have to answer. So I'm stretching on the couch and I took a trip to Elma, New Jersey, and I'm like, I'll be there. And she's like, with Byron Franklin. I said, wait, what? He's from Philly Gun Teacher LLC. I'm like, hold on, hold on. Oh, I have my phone trying to record. I'm recording. I'm gonna text people like, I'm on Fox 29.
That's fire.
And then it kind of was like, all right, I might have to take this serious. The
Yeah.
crazy part was Philly Gun Teacher LLC was something I just said. It was not a real company that I paid for and made the
Oh
LLC.
man. Damn.
So this is the funny part. So then fast forward when I started dating a girl, she was like, yeah. Then she seen the class and she was like, yo, that's why they interviewed you on the news. You don't know your potential.
Yeah.
You should quit. And I said, I ain't gonna quit. Then I had another moment. These people contacted me to do a bachelor party. After I had my buddy call out from work. Well, no, he didn't even call out. He scheduled off. I called out. He met me at the range. After I paid him for his ammo, after I paid him for using his guns, I paid the range fee for these 8 guys. And we was at the range like 4 hours. I walked out at a profit margin of about $875.
Wow.
Now the light bulb was going off because I'm like, I don't even make this the taxes and everything working 60 hours.
Yeah.
Now the math is not mathing. Now I'm starting to get what she's talking about.
Of course. Yeah, hell yeah.
So then the job was treating me crazy. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go in when I feel like it. Let them fire me. Because in my mind, they're gonna fire me. I'm gonna collect unemployment and I'm gonna build my company.
Yep.
But the problem was I was good at what I did, so they wouldn't fire me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's jobs that you could literally go to work late every day for over 4 months and still have a job.
Wow. Yeah.
And I mean, I was going in late. I had a route that had time constraints. Man, I was going to work an hour and a half late.
Wow.
So eventually I just quit because it's like, you clearly not firing me. And the HR lady went to tell me, she's like, you said it's favoritism and everything, because I sent a crazy email. The first email I sent brought awareness to the branch and stuff that was going on. So HR was down there, the district manager was down there. And then the next week I said, I don't want to work with this person. They put me with him Monday, and I told them I'm no longer working Thursday and Friday. So the next week they put me Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with the employee I said I didn't want to work with.
Wow.
So I said, okay.
It's making you uncomfortable. Yeah.
No, I wasn't even uncomfortable. Because see, the one thing about me, and I'm glad we're on the podcast because I want everybody to know this. Because I know how this 2A industry, people be gossiping and whispering. And if you heard I said something about you, I'm a man.
That's
come and ask me. Because if I said it about you, I will say it to you.
To you. That's it.
Just to be clear.
Hey, Breezy, give me a DJ horn, bro.
What I missed? I feel like I've been over here missing stuff, but I'm cooking up in case y'all didn't know.
He said,
nah. You in that sauce.
He said, at the end of the day, in this space, I'm a man. If someone said, I said something about you, call me because I'll say it to you. And
yeah. Like, definitely. Don't be confused.
I thought I heard you saying you might spit something, but I didn't know. So I just want to see what you might have for this a little bit.
You saw we on the spot off of the top. This is crazy. Let me see.
We might have a delay though. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but we might just have to send you the track. Go.
Come on, bro. Wait. Oh, bro. I mean, hey, bro. The thing about Breezy, a lot of people don't know this because you see him, he just looks like the standard white boy. But he's from a part of the city where literally if you walk 2 minutes across the way, he's in there. You know what I'm saying? He's in his alter ego is Seacrest Slim. Seacrest is a strip where it's just hot.
Shout out to all my
this man can crank out beats. Bro, when we owned the studio, people thought he was the investor. He's like, no, like me and Cush co-own it. Well, what do you do? Because all my clients knew what I did and how I did my thing. And one day he's making beats. They're like, who's that? And I was like, that's Breezy. They're like, what? I was like, because we had 2 rooms, 2 vocal booths, and I was in the A room, he was in the B room. I was like, go to the B room. They go out, walk to the B room, and he's sitting there. They're like,
and he cooking.
Bro, yo, he has placements on Griselda record label. You know them dudes from where they from, Breeze?
Buffalo, most all of them.
Buffalo? Yeah. He has like placements, so he's dope. But yo, that beat is hard, bro. So hold on.
Video. What's up?
Hold on. So you have we had the storyline. You grew up in a tough area. you had friends who were both victims of the gun and of the legal system, and you said, you know what, I want to get into training because it's something I love, and then the knowledge and wisdom and the desire to know more pulled you out of that and put you in a place to be an instructor. And honestly, bro, I'm listening to you talk, and I can tell that God has a calling on your life to be a teacher, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not just teaching safety. What you're teaching is how to be self-disciplined. Because don't matter how you cut the cookie, bro. MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, karate, wing, all those are disciplines, but so is owning a firearm, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I hear you saying, and it's interesting to me because it's the similarities are there. Now, I'm not an instructor. I'm far from an instructor. You know what I'm saying? But like, I like being able to hear and process the story because I see it. I see the big picture. You know what I'm saying? And so when I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, man, the fact that you have the insight to say, but I didn't walk away. And then you told a little bit more of the story. And you're like, and I still didn't walk away. It's like it's amazing to me because, bro, so many times and so often people have a calling on their life and they just won't walk away. But man, bro, it sounds like you're like really in your purpose. And now we're here.
It wasn't easy though. Understand?
That's what I was just about to say.
Right?
It wasn't easy.
Listen,
nothing good comes easy.
Listen, exactly. I remember standing in the store with my brother, like, man, yo, if I get these oodles and noodles, that's food for the next 2 days.
That's a fact.
But I could buy these hangers and get my folded clothes up off of the duffel bag and hang them up.
So now I want to make something. I want to make the space uncomfortable because we do exist in this space. We are here. You know what I'm saying? What are some of the stereotypes you've had to break through? Because you're in Philly, you're in the city, you're black, you own guns. What are some of the stereotypes you've had to break through, not only in your city, but you as an influencer? And I don't like calling you an influencer because you're actually an instructor, but I mean, spade for spade, you got influencer following, bro. Right? So what are some of the stereotypes that you've had to work through? You know, we've seen each other at some of the biggest events. We're going to be in Vegas come next month. What are some things that Byron had to go through as the instructor and be like, yo, that ain't it. Like I'm real deal with it.
I think for me, it was when you're around and you're not like it's like, so now when we look at the NBA, right, we're like, yeah, everybody got this sauce, right? But it was always the people that opened the game. Like you look at a Michael Jordan, he opened the door for the AIs, the Kobe's, the LeBrons. So it was like when I came up and I became an instructor, it wasn't a lot of people that you could be like, oh, let me get advice from. But it was one instructor that was an example of how I wasn't going to be because I see him take advantage of people. Then it was other instructors that just, man, listen, what are you about? Are you passionate about this or is it a money play? And I was like, man, listen, I helped out with people's classes as an instructor. I didn't even get paid. I was just there to see how they taught because I wanted to make sure I was picking up sauce to make sure I was well rounded. I wanted to see how other people told jokes. I wanted to see how other people made people feel comfortable. And then when I started doing it, it was just me being me. I was like, I'm not going to change who I am. But I think some of the hardest things I had to go through initially when you're going to these ranges and say, hey, I'm an instructor. Can I teach here? They like, yo, get the F out of here, bro. You're not an instructor because I'm in there and I don't have a polo on that's fitting me nice and snug and I don't have on tight pants and I'm not Caucasian. That's what they were used to saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like you don't fault them because they're like, well, we don't know you. How do we know what you could do? And I'm like, oh, you want me to prove myself? Then in the hood, it's like, man, you what?
That's like calling you out. Yeah.
Yeah, like what you mean you need me to prove myself, bro? And then what I started doing, I started going to ranges and I would teach. Then I would be in the range and they be like, oh yeah, well this and this. And I'm like, well, that gun is only good if you do da 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 da. But another option based off of your budget will be this. This gun is way better, more reliable. And for a first time shooter, it's da 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 da. And then the people at the gun shop, they got a range. They're like, fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
Who's this guy?
that's amazing that you're knowledgeable like that, bro.
And then when you start doing stuff like that, and they're like, all right, so then it'll be, we're gonna you go ahead, you can teach here. And then you do a class and they will have people low key listen to how you articulate and explain things, and they're like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say do the solid. They see you operate on the range, and then it's like, okay, cool. So with me, I used to just post videos of the training stuff and all of that, and my following started growing. But my biggest thing for me when they started giving me that, why should we let you teach here? Who are you? So I want to walk in the building and people be like, you might not know me, but somebody in this shop do.
Yeah.
And somebody in this shop is going to be like, oh, that's Byron the Instructor. You don't know who that is?
There it is.
And then I don't have to say nothing.
Yeah.
They going to be like, well, who are you? What they said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bro,
and now that's what happens. I've been in shops where they don't let people teach from the outside. And I walked in, hey man, I got these couple students. And then one time I messed their head up. I said, can I come into your shop today? They said, oh, well, we don't really want to do reservations and classes. I said, I got to qualify 2 police officers. They said, is this Byron? Yeah, this is Byron. Come on in, man. We'll figure it out. Come on. Just
that's dope.
I said, okay, I'm gonna tell the cops to meet me there. They probably be there before me. They said, whatever you need. I hang up. I text the cops. Boom. No, it was 3 of them. So they get there first. I pull up, I park, I go in the range. And then they buzz the door, I go in. Byron, my man.
Yeah.
You ain't never been like this with me before.
Yeah.
But now is levels to this because you thought I was just training people. Now when I tell you I need to qualify cops. They was just like, oh, ho, we can't even do that.
Yeah.
So then it was like, all right.
So, all right, let's kind of change pace. Go ahead, Breeze. You got
no. I love that story, and I think the racial stereotypes is going to probably be in a lot of spaces, but there's something about the gun space that I think you touched on, black, white, brown, other. If you know what you're talking about, like you can, you know what I'm saying? Like regardless, you can be respected. And I love that about the gun space. And I also love that the willingness to teach, like from jump,
that's a fact.
like regardless, if you're there fronting like you know something, like we said, if you're fronting like you know something and you don't, they'll see it real quick. And if you don't, they'll teach you. And I love that. So I love to see you, doing what you do and hearing the story behind it.
Bro, and we've told our team that this entire year, like most people just see me and Breezy, you know what I'm saying? But we were at a event in Dallas earlier this year for another influencer event. We had a cameraman. We're like, yo, bro, if you want to learn something, just tell somebody, yo, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And he ended up
firing. That was his first time ever shooting a gun.
He was like, his head
he was a different guy.
He's like, bro, everybody wanted to talk to me and show. I'm like, yo, bro, because this is the space where stunting don't apply. Like, if you say, I don't know what I'm doing, bro, I will help you. Because, like, even me and Breezy, we're knowledgeable enough. But, bro, I say this to almost everybody that I'm like this with. I'm like, bro, I can't tell you why a carbine is better than, I don't know that. I'm not knowledgeable enough to tell you why, this upgraded slide or this, I just don't know. My knowledge base isn't there yet. You know what I'm saying? So when I have these conversations with people that we're interacting with and I'm picking up, and then when you get to shoot, it's different. Like one thing I've made very clear, and Breezy has too, is we want to get into hunting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so we have friends in the space that are like, man, you want to get into, bro, we're from South Florida, bro. We can't go to no mountain range and hunt no buck or bison or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you, Breeze. Like when you can come in and say, man, I don't know anything about anything, people pour into you. So it's dope to see that you've made a name for yourself and the room for people to know, oh, okay, Byron is him. He's gonna get it done, and if you don't know it, he's gonna show you how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
But see, you know, one of the other things, and I had this probably one of my this probably one of my biggest gripes with a lot of the new instructors. Um, is blatantly a money grab. You see certain people that do this, and you're like, I'm gonna do this too,
yeah.
and you can't. Like I even told somebody else, they was like, I said, well, you want to be an instructor? He's like, yeah. I said, well, listen, check this out. I guide you. I give you all of the steps. Um, he was like, will you mentor me? I said, nah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to mentor you because I get too involved. And I was like, if I'm super involved, I was like, you probably wouldn't like that. I was like, so unless you're working for me, it's no reason for me to mentor you. I was like, if you're working for me and we're doing stuff together collectively, then I can mentor you on certain things that I found, certain things that I do. I said, but otherwise, you need to do you. I'll guide you the way of being an instructor. I'll give you advice. And I said, but understand the first time you show me that it's a money play, I will throw you under the bus. Then I
Fire.
will get out, drag you to the front, and let them roll over you again. And I will drag you to the front again and let them roll over you again.
Just
Because it's
Breezy,
serious for me.
hit the tuba for no, hit the tuba for the instructor. Damn, Barry, you ain't gonna give me no free play.
you ran him over.
Oh, he got ran over again. Oh
Yeah,
man.
man.
No, but I like
It's
that about you. That tells me that you're about your integrity, you know, and that
100%.
a lot
Like,
of that, man, comes from our upbringing too. Like me and Breezy pride ourselves, bro. No one in the music industry could ever tell us we got our face dirty. Our face is clean everywhere we go, bro. Bro, we've been to
exactly.
Brooklyn, we've been to Philly, we've been everywhere we go. Texas, our face is clean and our face card is good, bro. So
Yeah.
We
See,
never did slimy business at the studio
never.
you
because,
know the
like,
funny thing?
you get a rep real quick like that. You know that, Byron. If you're out here teaching the wrong stuff, just doing a money play, it's gonna catch up with you, man. Once people
Listen,
find
it's somebody from my area. We used to be cool. We not cool no more. And it's just because you not that they weren't dope, they were a leech. And not even them just trying to be a leech. They were a better promoter than they were an instructor. And I'm like, well, if everybody on a team can have a job, but you can always become great. But they promoted fun and not education. And my problem was if people could come to your class, right? And I could talk to people, or somebody come to pay me for a lesson and they say they train with you. And I say, well, what are the safety rules? You can't give me none, nothing. And I'm like, you can't give me one safety rule? Oh, well, we ain't go over that. Okay. And then I'm like, well, what do you learn about holding the gun? Then they're doing the thumb behind, and I'm like, what? You ain't learn about the grip? Nah, man, we was, we picked it up, we were just shooting up things, having fun.
There's a
I
gap
said,
between the back and the dovetail. Yeah.
and yeah, and I said, oh, okay. So did you get slide by while you were there? And they're like, nah. Um, sorry, Sully, I hit you back. Um, and it was just one of those things where people didn't have integrity. And for me, that was a problem because you was take these people money, they would come and have a good time, but they don't learn anything. And see, I was the opposite end of that spectrum because people pay for a 2 hour class and I'm at the range for 4 hours because they didn't get it.
Yeah.
And for me, you understanding what I was trying to teach you was worth more
Then
than
this
the little bit of money you paid me.
Yeah, that part.
And for me, it just, but I'm like, when I say I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate about it. Like, that's why I say, like, when people be like, man, why you post this video? Man, you stumbled. Because I don't care. It's real life.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, I'm not going, you're not going, you go to my profile, you'll see stuff where I post stuff where I might go to a range and you see me shooting 200 yards and you hit me hitting still with a handgun. Yeah. But if you see me running and gunning and I slip and I fall, you're going to see that too.
That's a fact.
Because you're going to see me fall. You're going to probably see me laugh. You're going to see me finish and be like, all right, now let's run that back. And then you're going to see the video of me running it back with no hiccups.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's trained to fight.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I don't like when, if I've never seen one hiccup on your profile, like, come on, bro, you trying to sell me perfection. That's not realistic.
Yeah. Man.
So I just don't want to be, I don't want to be them guys. You might see me do so. I posted a video because I remember John Keys from Guns Out. He
Yeah.
did a 20-round bill drill. I did it. One of my homies that been instructing long as me. He was like, man, you better tighten that grip up. I said, bro, I'll be honest with you. From the draw, the grip was trash and I knew it. I just was in it and I wasn't going to stop.
Yeah.
I didn't do no training today, and I was like, listen, it is what it is, bro. I don't care.
Yeah. You're committed.
I said I could have said, oh, I don't like this. Do it again. Nope. And I missed one out of the 20 rounds. But and see, I think what some people thought about was a lot of people was like, oh, that's fire. That's fire. It was more people saying it was legit than people saying, oh, but you missed the shot.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't miss, you're not training hard enough. That's just a fact.
Mm.
Because if I wanted to, and I said, you got to understand what I was going. I told one guy, I was going for speed. I wasn't trying to blend speed and accuracy. I wanted to see how fast I could dump 20 rounds into this target. And I used a smaller target. I didn't use a regular size human. Nah, I used a smaller one.
Yeah.
And I burned it down. Out of 20 rounds, I missed one, but I did 20 rounds in a 5.99
And because
with a trash grip.
I think so many people get caught up in that social media funk, bro. Like, oh, if it ain't perfect or you ain't out here like Michael Jordan, then what are you really doing? But there's so many layers to training. You could be training for long distance.
many
You could be
layers.
training for close combat. You could be training for something within 100 yards. You could be training. It don't matter what it is. You're training. So, man, I wanna go ahead and ask you a couple questions before we wrap this thing up. I want to know what's next for Byron the Instructor, bro. What do you got next coming up? And man, what are 3 tips you'd give to young people looking to enter the firearm space, whether it's from a hobby shooting, a lifestyle shooting, so tactical or self-defense. Just so give us what you got coming up, like I don't know, the next 3 to 6 months.
So the next 36 months, one thing, me and Sully are going to be dropping a podcast next year.
Fire.
That's going to be dope. But one of the things that I really want to do is I want to start a nonprofit built around firearms education. Because to be real, man, I've come across women that were victims of domestic violence.
Come on, man.
They couldn't afford training. I
Come
paid
on.
for it. Well, I ain't paid for it. I'm the instructor, but I paid for the range fee. I paid for the ammo. And for me, it was out. And I've dated somebody that was a victim of domestic violence. And me being able to understand certain things that she went through was from stuff I learned being an instructor. Because people think, oh, I'm an instructor. I'm here to teach you how to shoot. That's not always the case. I done had literally a dude said this. He DM'd me some stuff about having problems, but it was just my persona of. That's what I love about social media. This dude literally hit me up. We were talking, and then one day on Mindset Monday, he said he came on and was like, "Yo, he's like, it was so random that you decided to talk to me." And I'm like, it was so random. Your message popped up while I was checking DMs. That's why I opened it, because usually it'll get buried. And I'm like, but it popped up. I responded, and then he was like, "Hey man, you got a couple minutes to chat?" And usually I won't video chat with nobody on Instagram. A grown man that I don't know, that's weird. But I did. and me and him had a whole conversation. He was going through some stuff,
Man.
and man, this dude, he came on Mindset Monday a while later. And was like, "Yeah, man, I'm glad you answered. I'm glad I was able to talk to you, man. I was ready to hang it up." And I was like, "Yo, that's crazy." Just
Yeah.
my reach of being a guy that
Yeah.
likes to shoot guns and train people. I was the reason somebody didn't unalive themselves.
Yeah, you
That's
were able to
divine
help them.
intervention
Yeah.
right there, man.
You know what I mean?
That's a
Yeah.
But
fact.
one of the big things about me that I want to push, one of the things, so I definitely want to do a nonprofit um, that has to do with firearms education and mental health, because in these environments when we're growing up in the hood, everybody telling you when you young, man, suck it up, man up. And then we get older and
Oh, man.
now we have this suck it up, man up personality where we're not taught how to process pain.
Or
So
communicate.
now
Yeah.
looking back, nah, if my son, now my son is 17. When my son was growing up, if he cried, yo, what you crying for? It had to make sense to me. If he
Yeah.
said, because you hurt my feelings, copy that. I'm not going to make you suppress your emotion. You told me I hurt your feelings. So now let's talk about it. Why did I hurt your feelings?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to do this. Okay, so I'm not going to tell him my son that he a sucker for crying or whatever. He
Yep.
younger. So I'm okay. Why are you upset? Why, how did I hurt your feelings? Okay, so what did you do to make me say that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's a whole understanding. So now I'm not chastising him for crying and wanting to bury his emotions. I'm actually opening his eyes up to what it seemed like for me.
Yeah.
And then by the end of that, he understood like, okay, it wasn't that you wanted to hurt my feelings, but I upset you, which hurt your feelings by
Yep.
me doing this.
Yeah.
So
That's
your
good.
reaction to my actions was this, and then
Yeah.
we had a whole conversation. He doesn't feel that he has to be a tough guy all of the time, like, and it's like, and it's one of the things I told my man. I was like, bro, you can't keep man up, man up. I'm like, what you raising him to be, a thug? What, he
What?
gonna be, a gangbanger? No emotion? He gonna be a killer? You gonna send him to the military then?
Right. Right.
I'm like, because at some point you tell people to suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. And then we have these men that have no way to deal with what they're going through mentally. And then they snap and kill 20 people. And people like, why?
Yeah.
Well, he was 50. He been manning up since he was 6.
Yeah.
And
And
Man.
it,
now he
they
can't take
don't
it no more.
talk
Life been
about that.
lifing.
Yeah.
He
Life.
can't cry. He
Yeah.
can't open up to nobody because they think it's soft.
Because his
Yep.
pops probably did that to him.
Yep.
How-
Exactly. So
Yeah.
now he get 50. I'm tired of all of this. Let me grab this gun. I'm going to shoot 25, however many I get in front of this gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
And things like that happen because people don't have no outlets. Like
Yeah.
I got, like, that's what I love about people that are in my circle, man. You could get on the phone with me and cry. I'm listening. I might even put it on do not disturb because I know this don't need my time now.
Man, that's what our brotherhood is based on. We
Great.
got like
Yo,
4 or
that's
5 of us. Man, we keep a brotherhood
beautiful.
because exactly
Yeah.
what you
You
said,
have
bro.
to.
It's important to have. And I don't
Yeah.
think
Because
we're gonna have to
yeah,
have him back because
we have to. We got to
big
have part
topic.
2. We got to
Yeah.
have part 2. You know, this was like this is season 1, episode 1. Like this, how we set it off right here.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
It's
So we're gonna have you
monumental.
back definitely. But give us 3 tips for young listeners who like maybe they want to get into the firearm space. They don't know how, what. Obviously, training is super important, but just 3 tips, as an OG, real quick.
Getting into the firearms game, research,
Mm,
because you need to research and educate yourself on gun laws and gun. You definitely need to know gun laws because they don't care when you say I didn't know I couldn't do that. Ignorance is no excuse for the law, and you will go to jail. So research, do your research, educate yourself. Don't jump on a gun because everybody thinks it's the best thing cracking. Try it. See if you like it. Figure it out for yourself. Once again, we're going back to research because you're going to research these firearms. Get your hands on a couple guns. See what feels good in your hands. Skills we could teach you. If something already feels comfortable, you make my job easier as an instructor. And the last part, never stop learning. Always be a sponge. I still learn when I'm on the range, and it's funny because I see things people do on the range and they haven't shot before. And like when they say, and I never got how people used to say the wise man will learn more from the fool than the fool from the wise man.
Yeah.
It took me to be an instructor so long to really get it, because as people come to me for gems and I'm giving you a lot, I'm always open to learning. So I'm picking up little things that you do that I see that, oh, this could be beneficial. Where I'm always going to be a sponge. I will learn something anytime. And that's what I always say. That's one of my biggest things. Never stop learning. Be a sponge.
Fire, bro. Well, hey, we appreciate your time, the tips. Don't jump
Oh, wait.
off. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Bree.
I got one for the people. Let me set up this scenario. All right. Ish is hitting the fan. You got to choose one guy. All right. Between these two guys, who you running with? John Wick or Jason Bourne? Or you can throw in like if there's a third.
Adi, I'm gonna go with you too.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with John Wick.
Okay.
Oh wow.
All and right. You know why? Now we know they both were skilled at their job, right? Jason Bourne was brainwashed as a soldier. Then they betrayed you.
Yeah.
John Wick was a man that built this certain set of skills from what he became good at doing, but he was a man of principles.
Yeah.
It was principles. He had honor until they violated him. Yeah. Once you like, but if you remember the one part where he popped up on the guy, hey Francis, hey Mr. Wick.
Yep.
He could have killed him, but what did he say? I think you should go home sick tonight. Thank you, Mr. Wick. Yeah. And went home. Yeah. He don't care. You think his employer was okay with that? Nah.
We even got the backstory, man. See, come on.
But yeah, so I will go with Wick because he's a man of principles.
I like that.
And his determination mentally.
Oh yeah.
If he say I got you, if he don't got you, he's dead. You know it. Like
I got a third option from now on, but that's good because we were talking about Grand Theft Auto earlier, and maybe you go CJ or Ryder. So Jason Bourne, John Wick, or Ryder, CJ from San Andreas.
Nah, look. No, here, this is how you get somebody. I can't remember my man's name. Y'all seen the movie Shot Us?
Yeah, of course, bro.
If you gonna go for a rider, you need to get my man that will take the blood and put the number on the wall. If it come to riders, he is probably the most gruesome rider I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I know I don't know the character name, so we putting the finishing touches on this.
Yeah. Mission accomplished. Yeah, here it is.
That's it. Mission passed.
Mission passed.
Yes, sir.